Hello everyone and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall STOUT. We join you today from the Robert M. Kerr Food and Ag Products Center, which will be marking its 20th anniversary next year, and we can't wait to help them celebrate. And we're sort of celebrating ourselves today as we look back at our favorite SUNUP stories of 2016, and the whole team is actually here today. Joining me is Dave Deacon, Kristen Loveland, and Curtis Hare. And guys, what a way to end the year, which is to look back at some of our best work of the year. And for me, the weather really stands out, as it typically does in Oklahoma. Kristen and I, early in the year, were able to go to the eastern part of Oklahoma and the Illinois River, which was really devastated by flooding. Kristen, we were really surprised at some of the images we saw. Even though we'd read about it, it was entirely different to see with our own eyes.
Yes, I wasn't expecting hay bales and trees. And another thing I wasn't expecting was how it affect agriculture. You don't realize when you see a flood come through, oh, that's going to affect people's livestock and their crops and all that. So it affects quite a bit.
It definitely does. Let's take a look.
I don't know. I don't think we couldn't do anything.
Helpless.
You know, just helpless.
Gene Ellis and his wife own Sparrow Hawk Campground. They could only watch as floodwaters washed it away.
We're sitting there at the house, and these big, huge pecan trees are just snapping off and taking out power lines and just wrapping around trees, and you can see, you know, debris coming down, and then a few hours later the water table starts coming up, and then we look down here and it's getting in the office.
A late December storm dumped more than 11 inches of rain on the region, and this is the result. Officials sounded the alarm in advance, warning residents and home, land, and business owners. Ed Feit oversees the Oklahoma Scenic Rivers Commission.
This was an atypical storm. Typically what we see in floodings of past is that at the state line we'll see higher values when the river floods at the state line with Arkansas. In this particular storm it was the reverse.
You can see almost where the water level was across there.
The water was so high and so powerful,
which took out about half of our landing right here.
Time to haul hay.
In the wake of tragedy and devastation, ranchers from across the state have banded together to provide much-needed help to those who have lost so much. On March 28th and 29th, ranchers hauled tons of hay to Ground Zero in Woods County, where wildfires have devastated the area. Rancher J.B. Olsen came all the way from Newkirk to offer support.
Fire station, you know where you're going.
Turn right here at the fire station.
Makes you feel good to help some people that are in bad need some assistance and some hay. It burned up, some of them, it burned up all their grass, and they don't have anything to feed their cattle.
Biron SHIRLEY helped facilitate the donation effort, and he says it came together after he spoke with the Woods County OSU Extension Director.
Greg Heifel called me and he said, hey, you know, we need to see what we can do about getting some hay, and we need a spot to put it. And then we decided, hey, let's try to get it straight to the farmer instead of piling it at my house. I said, let's get up into the fire, get it to these farmers that are up in there.
Curtis, that fire story was one of your first because you just joined the team.
Yeah, I mean, that was a crazy story. You know, it was really bad. The level of destruction that was there. There were a lot of dead animals. We also had to battle the wind. The wind that day was just crazy. But it was really amazing to see what Extension was able to provide, and not only just Extension, but producers across the state getting together and trying to help out people in a dire situation.
And so many times we have those stories, but then we also have upbeat stories, and we get to travel the state and see county fairs, and you guys had a great story at the McCurtain County Fair.
We got to sit in for the McCurtain County Fair pageant, which was really well produced, really high end, and again, the whole community turned out to support the people who were entrants.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a constant theme wherever we go to. I'm always surprised by some of these. You'll go to a small town or a small community, you think it's just going to be kind of, you know, a kind of cute story, but it turns out to be this really big deal that really brings the community together, and I think it's something that's really important.
Every year at this time,
On the Tuesday evening before the fair really gets rolling, young women take the stage for the Miss McCurtain County pageant. 16-year-old Kylie Carroll stands poised as one of them. As a little girl, she stood in awe of a previous title holder.
I was this nervous little 6-year-old, and she kind of helped push me out of my shell.
Each young woman is on a different journey, getting over nerves to enter in the first place. And before finals night, there's lots of practice, direction, and a healthy dose of confidence boosting. BreeAnn Brinkley-Campbell, who wore the crown several years ago, now serves as the pageant director, and most important, one of the volunteer mentors.
A lot of girls that come to us, they have low self-esteem, and we lift their self-esteem up, and then they feel like that they can go out in the world and do anything. There was one girl last week, she said, I didn't know I was going to feel this good about myself. So that makes us happy.
Longtime friendships are made here too.
We all follow each other on social media and that kind of thing, Snapchat, Instagram. You make so many new friends.
Kylie's also made friends in Hayworth 4-H and FFA and will show hogs later in the week. But tonight, it's all pageant glam.
You've put so much time and effort into looking like this, the makeup, the hair, the dress, the tans, the nails, everything. And so after doing all this, that all washes away for tomorrow when I am in my muck boots and my jeans and walking my pigs, which I've also put a lot of money and time into. And I don't think I could choose a favorite if I had to. I'm very lucky to be able to do both.
Backstage, it's all nerves and well wishes. Kylie makes the top 10, and when the field is narrowed to 5, the MC calls her name again. Last up, nerve-wracking live questions.
I've heard a saying, and it's, you're not a winner unless you try.
And then this.
18.
The next morning,
It was great. It was unexpected.
It's back to business as usual for the new Miss McCurtain County, sans makeup and rhinestones.
When Courtney, the reigning Miss, was putting the crown on me, I could not stop shaking. I was crying. Tears of joy, of course, but it was great.
What's equally great for Kylie, the next day routine of getting hogs ready for the ring. Along with the more than likely possibility, she will now inspire someone too.
The holidays are a great time of year to reflect back with gratitude on the work we are fortunate to do that helps to make Oklahoma such a great state. We are honored to serve the land-grant mission in which we teach and serve students, carry out research that helps us to understand the world around us, and conduct extension programs that help to improve lives across the entire state of Oklahoma. It's a mission we have a lot of pride for. And on behalf of everyone involved with agriculture and natural resources at OSU, we want to thank you for letting us be a part of your lives on your farms and your families and in your communities across the entire state. We sincerely hope you have a safe and happy holiday season and a wonderful new year.
A lot of the Fair Board members, they grew up in the 4-H program, so they know how the programs ran, and now their kids are going through it, and they're putting entries in livestock and then also crafts and crops. The livestock families and 4-H families, they grew up together, and they're there to help one another. They want to win, everybody wants to win, but they also want to see their neighbors and friends do good as well. And it takes a family to be productive in the 4-H program and be productive at the fair.
To me, it's important to be here at your local fair to show your support to your county and show, hey, I'm here. You can do these cool, incredible things. But other than that, it's really just all my family and friends being here. Yep, my sister Mckenzie Overman, and then my dad used to show, and then I have a stepbrother that shows.
It's my senior year, and I kind of wanted to be the best this year, out of my family at least. No, I can't win them all, but I can try.
Congratulations, Mckenzie Overman, class winner, class 1. Second place goes to Jesse Miller.
I think that's pretty cool to have a sister and a stepbrother that are here showing.
Fourth that shows. I don't know, on my farm there's been 6 generations that have lived there. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, and then my dad, and then me, and got 2 sons and daughter and my grandchildren. Awful proud to come in and watch my kids show and carrying on the tradition, I guess, and learning about farming. I'd like to keep it involved in the farm and hopefully be able to keep the farm in the family.
Just like to see the kids participate and do their projects and learn that animals need to be treated right to be showed, and the more they work with them, the better off they do in their classes.
We're possibly the most competitive whenever it comes to a family. Every year, me and my sister, since I started showing, we used to have a contest of who won the most plaques every single year. I won one year and I won every single one because I had so many hogs. After that, my luck's been down, but I still show. That's the important part for me.
Nolan Overman exhibits the champion shorthorn steer. Congratulations, Nolan.
They want to beat each other, but they all get along in the end and help each other get it done.
So my favorite part of this year has been the county fair series, because you never know who you're going to meet, what their story is going to be, what they're going to say. It's just kind of an exciting thing for me.
Well, and the cool thing about the K County Fair, this was their 99th year, and they have a large celebration planned for 2017.
Another tour that we got to go on, of course, and we enjoy each summer, is the wheat tour, which takes us from one end of the state to the other.
We went along Highway 81 from Grant County all the way to Jefferson County, and since Curtis went along with us this year, he was the newest member of the team, and we got the opportunity to stick him out on the side of the road and get those cool shots as we go driving by.
Yeah, that was a lot of work. You go into these things sometimes thinking it's going to be pretty easy, and then I'll just get out of the car and shoot a few things with you guys driving by, but. Not, seemed like it must have been about 100 times I was hopping in and out of that car.
Were you wearing orange though? That's the most important part.
Yes, I was wearing orange. I was
first.
following ODOT regulations of standing on the side of the road, so that was good. But one thing I did want to say that was interesting, because I had never been down the entire state before just to look at wheat, and one of the most interesting things is just you really realize how beautiful of a crop that is, the different colors that you get to see, and it was an excellent trip.
And we've had fun passing by each stop that you made, waving, Curtis, should we go back and get him? Should we go back and get him?
Yeah.
And luckily we did.
Yeah, as long as I had lunch that day, I was fine. So.
Hello everyone, and welcome to SUNUP. I'm Lyndall Stout. We're on the road today just north of Renfro at the Kansas state line for the start of SUNUP's annual wheat tour. This year we're traveling along Highway 81 north to south, which runs parallel, of course, to the historic Chisholm Trail, to see how Oklahoma's wheat crop is doing. Let's get started.
Hi there, Jeff.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well, and you?
Doing well.
Good. Well, we're here in Grant County. Tell us about kind of how the wheat's looking across Grant County.
Well, we're getting pretty excited. We've certainly seen a much improved crop in the last month.
Hi, Shane.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having us out here in Kingfisher County.
You bet, ma'am, anytime.
why don't we just kind of start by telling us how your crop's looking this year?
Well, so far we're fortunate this year in Kingfisher County. The moisture's been really good for us. I mean, the wheat, you know, we was talking about this last week, where we kind of headed out at, we thought we'd already be cutting wheat.
Howdy, Cale.
How are you, Dave?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing good.
Good, good, good.
Hi, Lyndall.
How are you, ma'am?
Good. Thanks for having us out.
Well, I'm glad you could come down.
Tell us how your wheat's doing out here.
It's doing fairly well. It's a good crop, but the weather's not cooperating too much right at this time.
Is that kind of the story of a farmer's life?
Yes, it is. It is.
We've made it to the Red River, and that just about does it for the 2016 SUNUP Wheat Tour. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
The harvest has really been unbelievable. We've had very good yields. We've had really good weather. Had a little bit of rain in between, but that really hasn't slowed us down much.
Yields are surprisingly higher than they expected. You know, we're hearing some 50 plus yields, which they, I think, would have been satisfied with 40, you know, so it's been a good surprise.
Wheat comes in from fields across Oklahoma to a facility like this one near Corn, Oklahoma, where it's stored until producers decide that it's time to market their wheat on the global market.
This is a central place where we can store our wheat, and we could do this cheaper than what you can actually build storage on the farm for a farmer can, and so that's the reason another reason it was formed originally.
We have a storage capacity of about a little over 2 million bushel at all three locations. Here at Weatherford, we have about 800,000 and about 800,000 at our Corn location and about 400,000 at our Eakley location, so we have to shuttle that around.
With so many good wheat crops across the world last year, space is tight for the 2016 crop.
About 40% of the crop was carried over from last year too to this year, so that made a lot of difference on storage.
We would estimate that a cooperative would have roughly 70 to 80 cents on every dollar spent additional economic impact. So what that means is if a co-op has sales of $1 million, we would expect an additional $600,000 to $800,000 of economic activity being stimulated in the broader economy because of that spending. They return cash and stocks to their members, and that generates some additional spending by those farm households as well. And so cooperatives are really important to our rural communities for that reason.
A number of us co-ops went together and formed equity marketing to where we could get a better price on our grain. So we have a large area. We will take in from 50 to 55 million through this marketing group of bushels of wheat this year.
Marketing associations really build on this idea of what we call economies of scale. And the idea is the bigger the group is, the more quantity they're going to buy.
This way, we have more outlets for grain, and we can get a better price for our product.
Every cent on a bushel can really help the local economy when you see one of those concrete elevators on the skyline.
You know, harvest is a rewarding time for farmers and the co-op too.
Well, you probably will find some of the best quality grain grown around in this area, and it's just a small niche in the whole world market and all, but we're proud of it ourselves, and we try to do a good job of maintaining it.
Have you ever wondered how Santa's reindeer get that job done, taking Santa all over the world on Christmas Eve and delivering all those presents? Well, I had the same question. So I went to the big library that we have here at Oklahoma State University and looked up some things about reindeer that I thought might help me understand this just a little bit better. And one of the first things I found out was that reindeer have been domesticated and that means they've just been used as helpful animals around the place or even as pets. They've been used that way for over 5,000 years. And we know that Santa, we don't know how old he is, but we know he's no spring chicken. So there's no doubt in my mind that between Santa and the reindeer being together that long, they know their way around. They're not going to get lost. Now, some people may be concerned about whether those reindeer get a little bit cold as they fly up above the earth on a Christmas Eve. Well, it turns out that reindeer have a coat that it actually has two different layers. And that combination of those layers holding that air gives them a really, really warm coat to where they're not even cold up there in that area around the North Pole. And so flying around the earth is certainly going to be no problem for them. Now, some of us may be worried about, whether they're going to have enough food, enough feed to make it through the whole trip around the earth. Well, let's study about reindeer again. They're ruminants. That means they're kind of like the cattle we have here in Oklahoma. And they have 4 different compartments to their stomach so that there's lots of area, lots of room for them to utilize and hold the feed that Santa gives them. Water, whether they get thirsty, think that's going to be a problem? I don't, because reindeer living around the North Pole where it's frozen all the time, they're used to getting their water from ice and snow. And so as they stop on a rooftop that's got a little snow on it, they can get a drink. Or if they're in the southern climates, they can just go by somebody's swimming pool and get a drink. Now, that business about them flying, that one was a tough one. And we did some work on that. But first thing I found out when I did my research was that reindeer, when they're full grown, have an antler that's about 4 foot long on each side. Okay, so they've got 4 feet on each side for each reindeer, then they have 8 foot of antler span. On Christmas Eve with the 8 reindeer, that's 64 feet of antler span that they've got. And if it's a foggy Christmas Eve, you better add another 8 for Rudolph. That gets you up to 72 feet. I went out to the local airport here at Stillwater and stepped off the wingspan of a Cessna Cub that was sitting out on the tarmac, and the wingspan on that plane was only 36 feet. There's a couple other things about reindeer that I want to clear up. Perhaps you've heard the song that talks about up on the rooftop, click, click, click. That one's true, because reindeer have a tendon that go over the knee that actually makes a clicking sound as they move. And so we can tell that they're really Santa's reindeer if we hear that clicking sound on our roof on Christmas Eve. So I'm going to go to bed early on Christmas Eve because I don't want Santa to miss my rooftop with his reindeer this year, and I think you ought to do the same. And so let's wish everybody a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time on SUNUP's Cow-Calf Corner.
Well, it's been a great year, and we look forward to seeing what 2017 is going to bring.
Yes, there's a lot of stories to be told, a lot of people to meet. I'm excited for 2017.
Well, and it's great that we have an opportunity to travel the state and show other parts of the state the great things going on in agriculture and natural resources.
Definitely. Well, from our SUNUP family to your family, happy holidays and happy new year. And of course, our annual gift to you, the 2016 SUNUP Outtakes. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, I did that anyway.
Red light's on now. You stop talking because you don't want to say something. It's good. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Sorry, about to do a parent thing.
Clean me.
Yeah, because there's a little thing right there. There we go. And I just smeared it even more. Yep. It's not really how you're supposed to do it, but.
Right? When I turn back to the camera, you turn back to the camera.
I'm just
I'll stick to talking.
Consider all The world your hands have made. I'm a monotone.
Give us a clap real quick. There we go.
That's great.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
It's like the movie, like that. It's to sync the cameras.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Even though I think they sync themselves now.
What Darren doesn't know is he just made the Christmas show.
Okay, I guess I don't know. We're not actually in West Texas. I don't have to be planted for a complete.
Okay, I'm leaning into the wind.
We all know we should be aware of... Frogs messed me up. 3, 2, 1. We all know we should be aware of snakes. I don't know why I can't say that word. Craig says wetlands across the country have disappeared, and in Oklahoma alone, about 60%.
Well, I tell you what, you are rolling. And I'll even turn on the little light for you. I'm gonna let that little light of ours, I'm gonna let it shine.
That way I know when we're rolling and when we're not.
Right.
That way I don't say anything
Right,
stupid.
exactly.
Some might do.
Oh! That's funny. I've said, I think I can't remember who it was I was talking to, somebody in your office. I said, that Josh reminds me of Lionel Richie. I said, there's something about him that, there's something Lionel Richie about that Josh Lofton.
I'm getting compared all the time.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Not the killing freeze, but just the first frost. It will change the metabolism of this plant to where if there's a lot of nitrates, I got a mosquito biting me and I'm not going to let him. I don't want Zika virus. Boy, he was digging.